It's Wednesday, November 11th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. Before we bring you today's news, local sports, talking transportation, and more, we just want to give a heartfelt thanks to all of our veterans and servicemen and women on this Veterans Day. Many of the towns the HAN Network covers as we speak are having ceremonies to honor those vets. So if you didn't make it to one of those, you can check your community news site later for stories and photos. Also, please feel free to share your thanks and appreciation to the veterans in your life and everywhere with us on Twitter at HAN Network CT, and we'll help you get that message out. But now on to today's news. In Stratford, a person was struck and killed by an Amtrak train at the Main Street station this morning. Aaron Donovan, a Metro North spokesman, told the Connecticut Post that one person was struck and killed by an Amtrak train out of Washington, D.C. that was headed to Boston. The accident happened around 8:27 this morning, and Donovan said a pedestrian or trespasser was hit. Service between New Haven and Bridgeport was temporarily suspended. We'll bring you any updates on that story as they become available. In more news out of Stratford, a New York man accused of approaching members of Victoria Soto's family during a charity event and claiming the shooting incident at Sandy Hook School was staged is facing charges from Stratford police. 32-year-old Matthew Mills of Brooklyn, New York, was charged Saturday with breach of peace and interfering with an officer. Police said Mills approached members of Victoria Soto's family after the Vicky Soto 5K run-walk event on Saturday morning, and he made a statement that the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown nearly 3 years ago was staged and part of a conspiracy. Police said the comments were upsetting to family members. When officers approached Mills, he attempted to run away through a crowd of people, but was quickly detained and arrested. Soto, who is a Stratford native and a teacher at Sandy Hook, was among the 26 people who were killed on December 14, 2012, after a gunman went into the school. Mills posted a $10,000 bond and was released. He's set to appear in court in Bridgeport on November 17th. More than 60 guns have been seized from a Darien home following a heroin arrest. Police discovered several packets of heroin in the possession of 25-year-old Joseph Tarnowski during a traffic stop, as well as an unloaded long rifle registered to his father, Darien Constable Joseph Tarnowski, in the back seat. Darien police stopped Tarnowski on November 5th for darkened tints on his vehicle. Tarnowski allegedly admitted to having syringes he had used earlier to inject heroin. He opened a compartment from inside of his jacket that contained several syringes. Police also found several wax packets of presumed to be heroin and one Suboxone pill used to treat symptoms of withdrawal. Tarnowski allegedly admitted the pill was not prescribed to him. He was placed under arrest and released on a promise to appear in court November 19th. The wax folds found at the scene later tested positive for heroin. A search of his vehicle produced the rifle, which was stowed in a case in the rear seat. Tarnowski does not have a handgun permit, and no charges were attached to its presence. He was charged with illegal possession of prescription narcotics and was also giving a written warning for the tint violation. But according to police, Tarnowski had been previously tied to the use or sale of heroin in Darien, and an investigation revealed he may have been attempting to sell the weapon that was found in the car. Additionally, Tarnowski and his father were found to own a considerable number of firearms, prompting Darien officers to apply for a risk warrant. Under Connecticut law, police can apply for a risk warrant to seize weapons from persons who have shown to be a risk to themselves or others. A total of 67 firearms were seized from their home under the warrant, and Darien police contacted the state police firearm unit to investigate the status of the owner's permits. Police said the owners were cooperative during that process. Well, the Bridgeport Police Department broke up an illegal street race Monday night, arresting a 21-year-old man after a police pursuit. Around midnight on Monday, November 9th, police officers observed multiple cars stopped in the middle of the Route 825 area near Exit 5, preparing to illegally street race. All the vehicles fled when police arrived. However, one vehicle in particular, a white Buick LaCrosse with Virginia plates, sped away, swerving across all lanes of the highway. The vehicle operator attempted to avoid arrest, but the police car pulled in front of the Buick and was able to steer it toward the side of the highway. When the officer got out of the car to speak to the operator of the Buick, he dipped around the officer and drove off. The Buick continued down the highway with its lights off, driving at speeds above 120 miles per hour. But the officer was able to get a look at the vehicle operator's face and got the license plate number. The officer pursuing the vehicle reported it to dispatch and exited the highway for safety purposes. Shortly after, police officers reported that the vehicle was found parked in Bridgeport near the corner of Center Street and Harrell Avenue. After running the plates and finding out that it was an enterprise rental, it was concluded that 21-year-old Vladimir Arce was operating the vehicle. At about 2:30 in the morning, Arce turned himself into Bridgeport Police Headquarters on several motor vehicle charges, including engaging police in pursuit. Well, Monroe police have arrested a second suspect in the September robbery of the Buck Stop gas station on Route 25, that according to Captain Michael Flick. 29-year-old Wesley Steinfeld of Newtown is charged with first-degree robbery, third-degree larceny, and conspiracy to commit first-degree robbery. Police received a report of a robbery at the Buck Stop shortly after midnight, September 6th. Officers were met at the store by the night manager and owner, who reported that a man wearing dark pants, a black hooded sweatshirt, and a mask covering his entire face had entered the store. The suspect then placed a plastic bag on the counter, implied he had a weapon, and told the manager to fill it with cash. The manager placed an unspecified amount of cash from the register into the plastic bag, and the suspect ran out of the store with the cash. No vehicle was observed, and the night manager was unable to determine the race, age, or hair color of the robber. However, after a 2-month investigation by members of the Monroe Police Department Detective Bureau, police determined that Christopher Basso was the orchestrator of the robbery and the operator of the getaway vehicle for the crime, while Steinfeld committed the actual robbery. Detectives obtained an arrest warrant for Basso and Steinfeld. Basso was arrested at his home on November 5th, and after learning of the warrant for his arrest, Steinfeld presented himself at the Monroe Police Department on November 9th around 9:30 in the evening. Going to throw it over now to Rob Adams for a look at today's weather. Rob?
All right, Kate, thanks, and good morning, everyone. So we've got a rainy day, at least rain late this morning, and then a chance of light rain this afternoon with a high in the lower 50s. The winds 5 to 10, and I don't know about you if you've been outside yet, but I know there were some stretches of road that I felt like the car was getting tossed around a little bit, so keep that in mind. Gusts up to 20 miles per hour, so again, be mindful of that. Tonight, we've got a mostly clear night with lows in the upper 30s and a northwest wind around 5, but it'll become light and variable. On to Thursday we go. Showers likely mainly in the afternoon. High around 57, southeast wind 5 to 10, 70% chance of rain. To Thursday night, we drop down to the mid-40s, mostly cloudy with a chance of showers in the evening. Now the wind from the southwest at 10 to 15. To Friday, 56 is our high and a sunny day with a slight chance of sprinkles in the afternoon. We move to Friday night. We drop down to 38 on a mostly cloudy evening. We go to Darien Saturday, and we will be there with the Blue Wave taking on the Staples Wreckers for a chance to play in the FCAC Championship football game. Sunny and breezy, highs in the 40s, but chatting with A.J. Simonowski before the show today, we were seeing that the wind chill will make it feel like it's in the lower 40s. So, again, something to think about. And that wind actually might gust up to 22. Fingers crossed that it doesn't gust that high. To Saturday night, we'll drop down to 34. Sunny and 53 for Sunday. Sunny and 57 for Monday. Right now in Darien, we have 49. Ridgefield has 47. And here in Shelton, it's 46 degrees, Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Rob's going to be filling in for Don Eng on today's Look Back on This Day in History, and also have the latest in local sports. We have a lot more news as well coming up on your coffee break after this.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express, open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
Football University, the nation's leading football training experience, is now accepting applications for its 2015 camps. Our elite faculty of NFL coaches and top professionals teach position-specific on the field and in the classroom to improve your football IQ and help you reach your full potential as a player. Apply today at footballuniversity.org. Football University, where technique plus talent beats talent alone.
The fall bite is heating up. Albies, bonita, blackfish, alligator blues, and stripers are following the large schools of bait in the Long Island Sound. This is the time to visit the New England coast, and the Dock Shop can get you outfitted with the latest fishing gear, jackets, hats, gloves, and fleece. Boater, beach bum, fishermen simply love the New England coast. This is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, now in 2 locations, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
Right. Have no fear. Hersom Acorn's Fast Frights movie contest is here. Visit fastfrights.com for more details. The only thing to fear is missing the deadline.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. 102,000 viewers have enjoyed the HAN Network in just the last 6 weeks. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
And we're back on this Wednesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski. Going to throw it over now to Rob Adams, who's filling in for Donald Ang to give you a look back on this day in history. Rob?
All right, thanks, Kate. Well, if you're watching this during the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, and we all know what that means. But first, 1620, the Mayflower Compact is signed in what is now Provincetown Harbor near Cape Cod. The original text has been lost, but it was essentially a social contract in which the settlers consented to follow the compact's rules and regulations for the sake of order and survival. To 1750, the FHC Society, also known as the Flat Hat Club, is formed at Raleigh Tavern in Williamsburg, Virginia, at the College of William and Mary. It is the first college fraternity. The name is likely a reference to the mortarboard caps that college students of the time wore. Among its notable members were future President Thomas Jefferson. 1864, the American Civil War, Sherman's march to the sea. Well, General William Tecumseh Sherman begins burning Atlanta, Georgia to the ground in preparation for his march south. And on this date, in 1918, well, there was this.
On the morning of November the 11th in Compiègne, France, an armistice was reached between the Allies and Germany, declaring a cessation to hostilities on the Western Front, effective the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. 4 years of intense fighting had cost all combatant nations dearly, and Allied soldiers and civilians alike rejoiced. The signing of the armistice on November the 11th became a federal holiday in the United States to honor those who served in the First World War and helped bring it to a close.
And indeed, that's 1918, World War I. Germany signs an armistice agreement with the Allies in a railroad car in the forest in France. The fighting officially ends at 11 a.m., the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, and this is commemorated annually with a 2-minute silence. The day was celebrated as Armistice Day until 1954, when it evolved into the current holiday of Veterans Day, honoring those who served in the U.S. Armed Forces. And one last little note that I grabbed, being a sports guy that I am, on this date in 1946, the New York Knickerbockers played their very first game at Madison Square Garden. The team now known as the Knicks lost 76-68 to Chicago. With your look back in history, I promise you I am not Donald Eng. We shift now into sports, and we jump in with lots to talk about from yesterday. Now, you've got girls soccer into the second round. Now, that'll all be taking place today, but we can talk about the scores from yesterday. As the FCAC had a so-so day, South Windsor over Norwalk 4-1. It was Central over East Hartford 2-0. In that Central game, Jonathan Gomes and Yoel Salvador had the goals. Danbury over Wilbur Cross 3-0. Darien a 1-0 victory over Ridgefield. In that game, Pablo Martinez had the lone goal. Darien coach John Bradley called it, quote, the best high school goal I've ever seen. It probably would have been an English Premier goal. That is pretty high praise for Pablo Martinez's goal. Darien plays Conard on Thursday. Also, it was Hall and Staples. They played to a 1-1 draw. However, Hall wins 4-3 on penalty kicks. How about the Greenwich Cardinals? Down 1-0 to Fairfield Ludlow, of course, the FCAC champs, and the Cardinals storm back 2 goals in the final 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Greenwich next plays Fairfield Prep. They beat Bristol Central 5-0. Cheshire over Trumbull 2-1. It was Wilton over Shelton 2-0 as Harry Allers had the lone goal. They play number 2 New Milford at 2 on Thursday, and West Haven beat Ward 1-0. The lone field hockey game of note in the area, New Canaan over Brantford 4-1. The big note in this game, the Rams had 4 different scorers, but Catherine Granito being one of them. She has come back from an injury. That is a huge boost for the New Canaan Rams. They play East Lyme Thursday at 5. Now we shift over and take a look at today's schedule in girls soccer, Class LL. Number 16, Darien is at the top seed Glastonbury. That's a 2 o'clock game. Number 24, Conard at number 8, Greenwich. New Canaan, the 23rd seed, goes to number 7, Middletown. Newington is number 2. They host the 15th ranked Wilton Warriors. Number 11, Ludlow is at number 6, Ridgefield. Number 14, Hall is at number 3, Ward. In girls soccer, 1 second round game. Number 16, Sacred Heart Academy is at number 1, St. Joe's, the top seed. That's 2 o'clock in Class L. Field hockey, Class L. The Darien Blue Wave, the 3 seed, hosting number 14 Newington. Number 10 Staples is at 7th ranked South Windsor. Number 6 Wilton, home for the 11th ranked New Milford. Number 9 Greenwich at number 8 Simsbury. 12th ranked Ridgefield is at number 5 Cheshire, and number 13 Trumbull at number 4 Norwalk. Class M volleyball, St. Joseph, the 13 seed, goes to number 4 Waterford. Class S volleyball, Trinity Catholic, they are 18th. They go to number 2 Coventry. And in the CIAC diving championships, you've got the Class LL diving at Bulkley High School and Class S diving at Middletown High School, one at 4:30, one at 5:30. I'm not Donald Eng, but I promise you with sports, I'm Rob Adams. Kate, back over to you.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, getting back to some of today's news. In Monroe, texting, drinking, and driving apparently caused a 1-car crash and the arrest of a driver late Saturday night, and the suspect was none too pleased, according to a report in the Connecticut Post. Town police said they arrested 21-year-old Patrick Capozziello of Newtown after responding to reports of a crash on Hattertown Road near Blanket Meadow Road shortly before midnight on November 7th. According to Monroe Captain Michael Flick, Capozziello was traveling northwest on Hattertown Road when he went off the side of the road and struck an embankment, causing heavy damage to his 2000 Nissan Maxima. Capozziello said that he had left a bar in Newtown and was heading to his friend's house, texting on his cell phone while on the way. Officers smelled liquor on the driver's breath, and he failed a field sobriety test, according to police. Once he was placed under arrest, Capozziello became belligerent, police said, and continued to scream profanities and attempt to get out of his handcuffs. During the booking process, the suspect allegedly continued to yell profanities and threatened booking officers. After a breath test that turned up a blood alcohol content of 0.147, nearly twice the legal limit for motorists in Connecticut, Capozziello apparently kept causing trouble. When officers placed him in a holding area, he began to pace and climbed underneath a bench, and when the officers tried to retrieve him, he began to flail about and kick. Capozziello already has a conviction to his name for violating the conditions of a release, according to state court records. He's also facing misdemeanor assault, breach of peace, resisting arrest, and drug charges from a January 3rd arrest in Danbury. Well, a Shelton man has been arrested on a number of burglary charges for a string of incidents in Trumbull. Police said that 48-year-old Kevin Lesko was taken into custody yesterday after Trumbull detectives obtained an arrest warrant that stemmed from a number of burglaries in the Daniels Farm area of town during the month of October. Lesko was detained on a $100,000 bond. Several other area police departments assisted in the investigation, helping Trumbull detectives identify Lesko as a suspect. According to a report, Lesko was arrested by the Orange Police Department on Friday, November 6th on a warrant charging him with burglary in the town, and he managed to make bond and was released. Trumbull police continue to investigate several recent unsolved burglaries in town. According to police, Lesko is a convicted felon with an extensive and related criminal history dating back to 1991. Well, in New Canaan, the boss of a landscaping business was not happy to hear that his work crew had an $1,800 push blower stolen off the back of their truck on November 3rd. What happened was that the workers were busy at a Putnam Road residence when the truck was parked. When they returned to it, the blower was gone. They reported to their boss and police that they had seen a gray Jeep Cherokee with Virginia license plates and that 2 Hispanic males were driving in and out of driveways. The next day, the boss saw the vehicle and followed it, calling police during the chase. When the police arrived and ordered the Jeep to stop on Smith Ridge, the jig was up, and one of the occupants admitted they'd stolen the leaf blower. 31-year-old Jose Barbosa and Eldoro Lopez, 36 years old, both of New Rochelle, New York, were charged with fifth-degree larceny, released, and will face a November 13th court date. All right, going to throw it back over to Rob Adams for another look at today's weather.
All right, Kate, thank you very much. As we look back indeed and take a look outside, we've got a rainy day now. It seems to be stopping as of right now outside of our studios, but we do have a chance of light rain this afternoon with highs in the lower 50s and a north wind 5 to 10, gusts up to 20. Chance of rain 100%, by the way. To tonight, mostly cloudy, lows in the upper 30s, becoming light and variable on the winds, so not too bad there. To Thursday, showers likely mainly in the afternoon, and again, gusts are going to climb up near 20 with a 70% chance of rain. High looking right around 57. Tomorrow night, 45 for the low with a chance of showers in the evening, partly cloudy after midnight. Southwest wind 10 to 15. To Friday, mostly sunny, sprinkles in the afternoon possible, and breezy with highs in the mid-50s. 38 is the low for Friday night, sunny and breezy for Saturday, high 50, and sunny and 53 for Sunday as we get back to work, 57 on a sunny Monday afternoon or morning if you so choose. Darien has 49, Ridgefield 47, Shelton has 46 degrees, Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, Jim Cameron joins us for Talking Transportation. He's going to be talking about the Stanford parking garage debacle. We also have some more news coming up on your coffee break after this. In Pound Ridge since 1993, the Wine Connection is one of America's best wine shops. Visit our beautiful store for the greatest in wine and knowledgeable service. With wonderful values from around the world to collectibles for your cellar, we are your one-stop source. Visit our online shop at wineconn.com and make sure to sign up for email updates. With great offers, new arrivals, and special events, don't miss all the action at the Wine Connection, including tastings every weekend. The Wine Connection, located at 32 Westchester Avenue, Pound Ridge, New York.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances. Where community comes first. A place where there's more than one kind of interest. Where automation will never replace consideration. Where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
Back to school means back to busy, and Stewart's Market can save you precious time by stocking all of your favorite essentials under one roof. For a healthy start to school, we have all the ingredients. Walter Stewart's, your family-owned fresh local market, 229 Elm Street and at stewartsmarket.com.
Tired of all the bull? Relax and enjoy the experience of buying a car at Pamby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram. No bull allowed.
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332. And online at stratfordsmile.com.
Here's a story about throwing good money after bad. I'm Jim Cameron for Talking Transportation, commentary and analysis on getting around in Connecticut. The nearly decade-long struggle to replace the crumbling Stamford Railroad Station parking garage has taken yet another bizarre twist. Now, the Connecticut Department of Transportation wants to spend $1.5 million and take 6 months to repair the garage that they then intend to tear down. How did we get into this mess? Let's examine the timeline. May 1983. Construction finally begins on the Stamford Transportation Center, featuring a new train station and parking garage. But construction is halted just a few months into the work when cracks are found in beams. Repairs are made and the work continues. Fast forward to August 2006. Crumbling concrete, exposed and rusting rebar convince ConnDOT engineers that the garage is near the end of its life. The ConnDOT decides it'll be cheaper to demolish the old 727-space parking garage than to repair it, and they allocate $350 million. August 2008, a hoped-for public-private partnership to replace the old garage in its current location and add private office space falls through. July 2012, the Department of Transportation tries a public-private partnership again, issuing a request for proposals for replacement parking within a quarter mile of the station. This time, developers are promised confidentiality. There are no public hearings on any concepts, leaving commuters in the dust. After some protests, Governor Malloy appoints a panel to oversee the DOT's process of selecting a developer. That panel meets secretly, never seeking public input or ever issuing a report on its work. July 1st, 2013. Local developer John McClutchy and his family donate $30,000 to the Connecticut State Central Democratic Committee. By February of 2015, the McClutchy family has donated $165,000 to that federal account, bypassing state laws prohibiting contractor contributions to candidates. July 11th, just 10 days later, the Department of Transportation announces its choice of developers for the Stamford Garage project. JHM Group of Companies, headed by the same Mr. John McClutchy, has proposed a 600,000-square-foot office hotel complex on the site of the old garage, while parking will be moved a quarter mile away. Negotiations on a final deal get underway. November 2014. Having been completely bypassed in the state's decision-making process about the garage project, the City of Stamford's Zoning Board passes a new zoning ordinance giving it, the city, final approval over any projects near the train station. March of 2015. Governor Malloy introduces House Bill 6851, a bill that would give the state control of all development within a half mile of any transit station. The bill would create a quasi-governmental Connecticut Transit Corridor Development Authority, all of its members appointed by the governor, with the power of eminent domain. After an uproar, the bill is eventually killed. April 2015. Large chunks of concrete fall from the ceiling of the Stamford parking garage, prompting the Department of Transportation to close the facility for a safety inspection, displacing 700 daily parkers. July 2015. The second anniversary of the DOT's selection of JHM as developer of the garage passes with still no signed contract. The old garage remains closed into its third month with no word on repairs. October of 2015. The DOT announces it will spend $1.5 million and take 6 months to repair part of the old garage, eventually to reopen 270 of its 727 spaces. Those facts speak for themselves. The only opinion I would offer is actually a question. If the Connecticut Department of Transportation can so mismanage a small deal like this, what's going to happen when Governor Malloy gives them $100 billion to spend on his 30-year transportation plan? I'm Jim Cameron for Talking Transportation.
Thanks, Jim. Very insightful look at the Stamford train station issue. But that's going to do it for this Wednesday edition of your Coffee Break. Again, we want to say thank you to all the veterans out there today and all the servicemen and women. Be sure to tune in to Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock today. And, of course, I'll be back tomorrow at 11. So have a great day, everyone.